Hello everybody and welcome back to Tomb Raider. We have finally made it to the game's finale. This is the point of no return, and once we go through these doors we will be able to finish up the events of the game. So I'm very excited. A great game, but it felt long, so I'm glad that it's finally coming to an end. And hopefully it's going to come to a good end. Hopefully we're going to be able to stop Mathius and save Sam before he goes through with this crazy ritual.
No! No, please! Laura! Why are you doing this, Mathius?
Do you think that you're the hero, Laura? Everything I've done, I did to survive. How many lives have you taken to do the same? There are no heroes here. Only survivors.
Himiko's dangerous, Mathius. She's angry, she's vengeful, and she has real power.
A mere mortal for a queen? A good trade for our freedom, I'd say.
Seriously, Laura, you should have just shot the bastard. He'd be so shocked that you actually did something that he probably wouldn't even attack Sam. He would probably just drop her and you could just leave. But that's never how it goes in these games. They always just stand there, weapons pointed, never, doing anything. So anyways, now we have a very long climb. This section is a lot of climbing. We are going to have some fighting at the very end, of course, as expected, but this is a very long sort of trek up this area. And as much as I don't like Mathius, he's a great bad guy. I mean, he is just clearly out of his mind and very nuts. He has a good point. We can't just forget the fact that Laura has killed just as many people as he has probably in her fight for survival. But that's the whole point, I guess, is that it's survival and you do what you need to do to survive. And they give you some pretty good checkpoints in this area, so if you fall or screw up, generally speaking, you won't go too far back, which is nice. That jump can be very tricky, so take your time, and then once you're ready, jump on over.
Watch out! Those bastards are heading your way. We did everything we could to slow them down.
Thanks, Reyes. Get to the boat. If I'm not back...
We're not leaving without you. We'll be waiting.
Good to hear that those guys are safe at the very least. The Guardians are going to leave them alone, of course. Probably now because they realize that their queen is in real danger. So at least our escape is sort of secured, assuming that we can get out of here alive, of course. Now hopefully those guys don't catch up to us, because that was quite a few things that we would have to fight if that was the case. Right now we're just going to focus on our climb. And I would assume that the storms in this area are so bad, in particular because this is where Himiko's body is being kept and whatnot. I think for the most part they do a pretty good job of making this last part seem really sort of intense and giving you a great sense of danger and like, this is the finale, this is it. And I kind of like that we're in a snowy area. It sets it apart from the rest of the game for sure. We had only one other area where it was snowing a little bit. And I forgot that there was a camp here, which is good news. That will give you a good checkpoint, and if you need anything else before you continue on, you can do so. I thought our last fire before entering this area was our last one, but I guess I was mistaken. So it'll checkpoint us there if we manage to mess anything up here, but we should be alright. This bit of the climb is a little bit treacherous. But I don't know that anything has ever actually hit me. I think most of the stuff falling down on you is mostly for show. Which is good and bad. Presentation-wise, it looks good. It makes you feel as if you're in danger, but at the same time, if nothing can actually hit you, it's like there's no real danger.
Oh, great queen, through the trials I have brought you the vessel. Pour forth and return to this mortal toil. Pour forth and be reborn. Pour forth and awaken.
So unfortunately at this point we've taken too long and Himiko is not going to allow us to stop the ritual from afar. You can see there that that sort of force field just deflected our arrows like they were nothing, so we are going to have to fight our way through at this point. So our platforming has come to an end and now we have to fight enemies, mostly Solari. We actually don't have to fight a lot of Guardians, so it's kind of a nice change of pace. And I would say that in this area, the most important thing is to stay in cover. Which is kind of true for most of the game, I would say. Is just to kind of pick your target, focus on one enemy at once, and take them out slowly. That shield guy snuck up on me. I could have been in real trouble there. I did not see him coming. I was too focused on these guys. And it is required to fight all enemies before continuing on. So unfortunately, we can't run in this area. We can't run in a desperate attempt to get to Sam as quickly as possible. But luckily, this isn't timed. We have no time limit to get to Sam. So, take your time. Although you would think there would be a time limit. I don't know how long this transferring of a soul takes. But I guess I should be fortunate that it takes seemingly a very long time. Otherwise, Sam would probably already be dead, or Himiko's soul would be inside of her. I'm not sure how that works. Like, if it would kill the person, or if it would just kill their soul and the body would still be alive with Himiko inside. And of course, Laura now has just gone full Rambo. She is feeling wrathful and angry. I guess, you know, as she should. I can't say that I particularly blame her. She is a woman with a mission. And again, you know, I just really like using my pistol, so that's what I'm using, but you can use any weapon you want. And just like every other part in the game, you can loot all of the Solari, so you should be able to get enough ammo and whatnot off of these guys that you shouldn't run out of ammo for any weapon. And that guy's gonna be kind of tough to hit, because I can't climb up there yet, and he's just kind of standing back. I think I got him. Or not. Oh, still up there. Come on, buddy. There we go. tackle more of these shield guys. This should be the last bit of this wave before we can move on. Come on. There we go. And if you're ever not sure if you've defeated all the enemies, you can always move forward. Because as soon as you try and move forward towards the next part, a cutscene or something will always happen, and you'll be able to see whether or not you can move on. And so now, this is kind of the game's final boss, I would say, more or less, is we finally get to fight one of the Oni. So the Oni, of course, have a ton of armor on them, and their weak spot is going to be their back, the only unprotected part of their body. So you want to try and get the Oni to attack you, so he can expose his back. And then we're going to have to perform a couple of different finishers on the Oni in order to actually take it down. Each time you hit the Oni with the finisher, he'll summon some enemies, usually bow guys. But, as you can see there, he can actually hit them as well if they get too close. So I would recommend taking the small guys out just because they're more of a distraction than anything else. And the Oni has really far reach with his weapon, so keep your distance when you're not kind of focused on him. And we're gonna have to hit him a total of 2 times in order to get his helmet off. And once that happens, we'll be able to hit him in the face, not just the back. And this is when the fight becomes a lot easier, because you don't have to wait for him to expose his back. He does become a bit more agile and a lot more angry at this point, though, so you do want to keep your distance if possible. And now we just have the final sort of QTE section in order to finish the Oni off for good. So like I said, a little bit underwhelming. They look very fierce and very menacing and very big before we actually run into them, but when you run into them and fight them, they don't really take much more brain power to defeat than a normal enemy. But I'm glad that they at least made an appearance and we did get to fight one of them at the very least. And now we actually get to fight Mathius face to face. He's sort of been on the sidelines this whole time. We've only been seeing him in the distance. He's kind of been taunting us. But now we actually get to fight him. Which isn't much of a fight. This is, again, mostly just a QTE segment. But it does feel good to just shoot him like that so many times. Really get your anger out after all that he's done. And the best part of it all, of course, is that we still have enough time to save Sam. and put an end to Himiko and her reign of terror.
Sam. Oh, Sam. Thank God. Laura. What's happening? I'm here. You're safe now. It's okay. It's okay. You saved me. I knew you would. I made you a promise. Let's get you home.
There's Lara! She's got Sam! She did it.
I think she's going to be okay.
What happened up there?
It's over. We can go now.
All right, let's get the hell out of here.
I've been so blind, so naive. For years, I resented my father, doubted him like the rest. But he was right about so much. I just wish I could tell him that now. There are so many mysteries that I once dismissed as mere stories, but the line between our myths and truth is fragile and blurry. I need to find answers. I must understand.
Alicia making me waffles before her ballet class.
Need anything? Don't really know what happened to you on that island. Judging from those wounds and that look in your eyes, I'm guessing I don't want to know. Anyway, we'll be home soon.
I'm not going home.